Hello everyone, Michael here from Car Crazy, and today I'm going to talk to you about add-ons and trim levels and why I went for the trim level that I've got. And one thing I want to show you first, what I had as like an optional extra. You know, when you buy a new car, you can get all the different options. One is this stereo system, the Navi system. It's got the maps, and then I got this. That's the Android Auto. So I got this because I wanted also the camera on here. It's got the 3D camera on here. Oh, that's it. I wanted that camera. It's got 3D camera on it, and obviously, and when I'm on 4 low, I go into neutral. It's on to 4 low. The others may come with that anyway, but I'm not sure. But it has the terrain camera as well, and the gyroscopes. You can see what angle you're going at. So yeah, I went for that. Switch engine off now. But so yeah, because I wanted that on there. Also, this has, I think, 14 or 16 speakers in here. I've got mid-range there, I've got speakers there, speakers down on the door each side. In the back is a subwoofer. So I had them as options, factory fitted. Also drive recorder. It's got a front, and I don't know if you can see it up the back. There's a rear camera as well. So I had them all factory fitted. Well, one, it's just going to be much neater than I can ever do. And two, you know, it's not going to affect the car's warranty. Obviously that's an aftermarket part, so if that goes wrong, the car's warranty doesn't include the drive recorder. Only the drive recorder company covers that. But you know, it's not, if that goes wrong or something happens, it's not going to affect my warranty because that's factory fitted by Toyota. And it's, of course, well, way neater than I could do. I mean, I'd have to pull all the car apart and get, you know, try and tuck the wires in, which would be a bit of a nightmare for modern cars. So I had that ordered at the start, and like I said, I had this audio navigation system put in, because but a lot of new cars here in Japan don't come with anything in them. You choose what you want when you buy a new car, which I think is a really good idea. Otherwise you might get some, you know, system in there you don't really want. So but yeah, I bought the top of the range system that was available at the time for this model, and had that put in there. That's for factory fit. Yeah, that's the only things I had done. I bought the TX model, which is the more standard, that's the basic model, the lower trim model. But it does what I need. It has everything. I mean, it's got, you know, it's got the 4-wheel drive low, it's got the locking diff, it's got hill descent control, second gear start. You know, it has everything. It even has the adaptive cruise control. You can see it there. That's the lever for that. It has all the controls for, you know, for the, in fact, I start it up, I'll show you. That's for the audio controls, and that to change the tracks. And you've got this to change everything on there. I can change all the bits on the speedo there. You've got all your different things. I can change by pushing that. You know, you've got all your different things. You can go down, up and down your menu. So everything can be controlled from the steering wheel. You know, so it has everything on there you want. Everything I need in a car. The only thing it hasn't got is heated seats, but in winter I just got hot pads to put on here. But I'm thinking this winter to actually get the hot pads that go under these cushions, so, and then, you know, connect it down here neatly, so it look more neat than the things going over the top. It's still a fraction of the price of what I'd have to pay for a higher trim level. Yeah, the higher trim, yes, of course I'll get the more USB sockets, but I mean, wow, big deal. I bought this, cost me what, a few hundred yen. job done. You know, the 3 sockets, that's enough for me, more than enough. Even for my wife and daughter in here, and the socket in the back anyway, that's more than enough for all of us to charge our devices without any problem. So yeah, so choose when you buy a new car, and it's always tempting to splash out the extra money for, you know, the highest trim. You've got all the bells and whistles, but think about it, do you need it? This is what I think. It's like if I got the top of the range Prado, that would have terrain control. I mean, what a load of BS anyway. I mean, wow, it's supposed to change how the engine and everything work, but let's face it, in reality it doesn't really do a lot. It's more of a gimmick, and you're paying a lot of money for a gimmick. I mean, just lock the diff, stick it in 4 low, and that's going to get you pretty much any way you want. The all-terrain control isn't going to make a lot of difference. Yeah, it does have the variable hill descent where you can actually vary the speed, where this one hasn't. But again, if this is not slow enough, just touch your brakes very slightly, you know, put it down into the first gear, things like that. There's, you know, I mean, yeah, these are having the extra things, the driver aids are supposed to help, but you know, I think if you're used to driving and used to driving off road, you don't need that sort of thing. So some of these things are a bit gimmicky, I think, and that's just more things to go wrong. And yeah, so I went for the basic model, and then the money I saved, which is a lot, like something like $1 million or over $1 million yen. I don't know what that is in dollars. $10,000 is it, or something? Maybe more. I can put loads of stuff on here, upgrades, and I still won't be nowhere near that. I can put new tyres on here, you know. I can, if I want, not that I'm going to, if I want to put a suspension lift on here and other bits I can do, and I'll still have money to spare. So the only thing I would like to have is, like I said, heated seats, and well, that problem was cured last winter. Just getting the hot pads that plug in the USB here, and that's it, job done. Heated seats. So yeah, the top spec model does have rear diff lock where this doesn't, but do I really need it? No, I don't think so. Unless I'm doing some really serious, you know, rock crawling, and in which case I probably need a lift and different bigger tyres anyway. So, you know, I thought, no, I don't need that. I know the new Land Cruiser comes with it as standard, which is great. If it's come with it as standard, yeah, great, why not? But it only has central diff lock, but the traction control system on here is very good anyway. So so yeah, when you're choosing a car, brand new car, don't always be tempted to, you know, pile it on with all the things. Ask yourself, do you really need it? Are you really going to use it? Is it really going to help you? There's a lot of cases where a lot of it won't. Like I said, the terrain control, if it comes with it as standard on the model you happen to want, then great, why not? It's there. But, you know, if you're only buying, you go buy the top spec model because you think, oh, I must have all-terrain control, it's going to really help me, you know, maybe you need to rethink. That's my personal opinion anyway. So yeah, but it is very, and it's also, the other thing is, when you buy a new car, don't be tempted by the salesperson, you know, to add this, that and the other on, because half the things they try to sell to you, you don't need. When I got this, they put on they added on the price for the mats, you know, normal Toyota mats. And I said, well, I don't want them, because I don't want them. They're them carpet things, which are absolutely useless to me. They're just going to get muddy and messed up in no time. I end up throwing them out before long. That cost a lot. For what I would have paid for the Toyota original mats in here, I got all these bucket mats plus the mat in the back, probably for the same price. So, you know, always check when you're buying a new car what they add on. And I said, no, I don't need that. I took out 1 or 2 other things. They said, do you want them? I said, no, don't want them on either. So always check and make sure they don't put add-ons that you don't want. There are some things that are useful, of course. Definitely, sometimes I recommend something that it probably is useful to have, then by all means. But quite often they'll try to put things on that you don't need, like mud flaps. Now these cars come factory fitted. That's not, it's in the price of the car. They're not added on, but most cars now don't come with mud flaps, and for normal road driving you absolutely don't need them. So that's another thing. They'll try to say, oh, you need that stop stone chips, which is another load of BS, because my previous car didn't have mud flaps, and even I went off road with it, and in the 5 years I had it, not a single stone chip anywhere on the car. So yeah, things like that you don't need. But like I say, these Prados come naturally fitted from the factory with them. They're not an added extra. So yeah, if they're on there, why not? That's fine. But if it didn't have the mud flaps on, I wouldn't have them on. Actually, I wouldn't have bothered. So things like that to be wary of when you buy your car. Choose your trim level wisely. If it's new, second hand, well, that's not always possible. You sometimes have to get what you find. But if you're buying a new car, regardless what it is, always check the specs of the trim, see what it's got, what you really want, don't want, and sometimes it's better just to buy the lower trim and then upgrade it bit by bit. Add things, obviously. If you want a car, I don't know, a really powerful car, it's no point buying the lower spec car with a small engine, then try to upgrade the engine. That would be a stupid thing to do. Then you'd be better off to buy a car with a bigger engine to start with. I'm not talking so much about the engine and performance, that part, more the general everyday usage of the car. Things like I said, terrain control. Do you need it? Electric seats, heated seats. Well, if you live somewhere where it's hot all year round, do you need heated seats? No. Things like that. So it's more that sort of thing. Obviously the performance of the car, yes, I think we all have our individual wants, I suppose, for performance. So you might be looking for a particular car that has a particular performance or fuel economy or whatever. So sometimes you might have to get the higher grade to get that, better performance or better fuel economy. Well, then that can't be helped. But if I bought the top model of the top grade trim of this, the medium trim or this, the 2.8 litre diesel engine is exactly the same. The gearbox is the same. The four-wheel drive system is exactly the same. It's going to perform the same off-road and on-road. I know it has the terrain control on the top model, but like I say, quite honestly, that's more of a gimmick than anything. So it was an obvious choice for me to save a lot of money and buy the lower trim level and upgrade things like I put leather seat cushions in here, things like that. I just added that USB connector there, which is just a few £100 fix. It gives me enough sockets and things like that. So yeah, so anyway, I hope this was helpful to you and you learned something from it. So if you're in the market for a new car, whatever it is, check what you really want and see if it's possible to go down one grade and save yourself a ton of money. You can use that for either upgrading your car yourself or whatever, going on holiday or something or whatever. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back again soon. Okay, goodbye.